All right. Welcome to the show, everyone. It doesn't show that I'm connected. It's showing an error going live from my end, but we're just going to keep doing this because evidently we are live. Welcome to the Wealth Rules Substack. This is the podcast that is for our new book. It's Hidden Rules. It's launch day. And I just want to know how my co-author, co-host of the Wealth Rules podcast is doing today.
Good morning, Vickie. I'm doing amazing. I'm super excited about the book. I'm excited about today's podcast. Good, and thank you, Amira, for rejoining us. She's back, so thank you for that. But yes, I'm excited, is for a lack of a better word.
I know. I'm going to just tell you, we're exhausted. We have worked so hard this week to get this going. But I want to say that the book launch is today. I will let's put in the show notes. It's going to have to be from her end because my end says there's an error going live, even though she sees me, she hears me. Would you ask them if they can see me on the live? Is it actually that you can see me from that end and I'll just ignore everything that says error going live? And
Amira, can you see us? Can you see Vickie?
yeah, it should be, that way. It's a strange day to have this happen where there is technical difficulties on the Substack side. But listen, we wrote a book called Hidden Rules. It's what they left out when they taught you about wealth. And we spent a lot of time putting together these hidden wealth rules. And the first thing I want to talk about is where I learned them, how I found them, how I've been teaching them with, these concepts have been hidden from the public on purpose. And one of the things is, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, my dad made his money illegally.
Right.
And thus, he could not invest in markets. He couldn't put the money that he gained illegally into systems that would that would tag the IRS. And they'd be like, "Well, how did you put this investment in or how did you do this?"
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things he started doing was he did alternative investing is what I'll call it. But what he did was sovereign wealth investing versus market wealth investing. And of course, I learned all of this. And at the time, I was embarrassed by all of this. And so I swung the other way. And I got all my financial licenses and I worked as a financial analyst for, some big companies. I worked for some mutual fund companies like Janus Funds. I did international accounting and auditing there, and I audited all the contracts that came in. And I worked as a financial analyst for a division of Citigroup. And I was there for a long time, and I kept looking over and over. We kept analyzing mortgage contracts, business contracts, just
Right.
tons and tons and tons of contracts. And then I realized that this side was as corrupt as I thought my dad was.
Mm.
And I realized that the corruption was so bad, most people didn't know anything. They knew nothing and they didn't know how to protect their wealth. And so what happened was I swung back the other way
Mm-hmm.
and I realized there was a legal way to build wealth that they didn't want anyone to know, and that there was a boatload of hidden rules that the average person didn't know, didn't utilize, or didn't ask even questions about.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I started talking with Monique, we found that we had the same thoughts and feelings about this.
Yes.
And we understand the difference between sovereign wealth and market wealth. And we got together and had several long conversations. And her specialty is asset development and private equity and all the other performing well things, and I'll let her tell you about how she got on board with this. But what happened was when my dad passed away, we were setting up for his memorial, and you go through all the books and things and everything else, and my dad, he was in the war, and what he did was he was a spy, is what he told us. But what happened later is we found out after he died
Hmm.
that he was a CIA spy. He wasn't just whatever a spy is. So I realized that my dad had worked both sides and really knew the system. He really knew it, and he chose not to participate in it. So the thing
That's amazing.
is, yeah, it is. So that's how I discovered all these hidden rules. And I've been using them to build my wealth and stability from that day forward. I haven't looked back. And I have a more stable, contained form of wealth that doesn't rely on whether the market goes up or down.
Hmm.
And if you take a look at all the truly wealthy people, billionaires, everything else, it's just like Grant Cardone says. I say this every time. Grant Cardone is like, no, if you're really wealthy, you don't invest in the market. And I was like, huh, that's true. You don't. And so why? And then Robert Kiyosaki.
Hmm.
I love him. He hates the market. He absolutely hates it. He's like, the market is junk. And I agree with him. And now, after that, we wrote this book to help everyone understand your options, how
Yes.
your mindset thinks. So I want to shut up and let you share how you got into this, because I just shared how I did.
You know, what you said was so powerful just now, that there are people who the middle class looks up to. Look at Grant Cardone. Look at the author Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert
Yeah.
Kiyosaki, and what they're doing with their money.
Yeah.
And I read a lot of great books over time, but there were still ways that I was performing wealth. I had the knowledge base. I'm reading a lot of books, and I'm applying it. I'm applying the knowledge, but I'm also listening to my financial advisor. And this is where I think it gets tricky sometimes, because you can be a high earner and you can feel like you've arrived. And so you just start doing whatever your wealth manager or financial planner tells you to do. But I had a moment when I had to wake up. I had a wake up call because, like yourself, I've been investing in Bitcoin since 2012, right? I mean, you were an early adopter. And I was talking to my financial advisor about it. He didn't know anything about it back then, which understandably so.
Yeah.
But 2015 comes, I've already made some money. Ethereum is out. And there were certain places where you can invest. And so I was talking to him about that. Too risky. You don't want to do that. It's too risky. I'm still making money. How was that happening? So fast forward, I was also looking at my portfolio. And when I heard that phrase again, it's too risky. It's too risky. It made me think I don't have control. I can't move my own money. I can't. I'm working super
Mhm.
hard. I have a family. I'm trying to retire early. That's the dream. They're telling you right now, if you wait till you're 70, 75 years old, you waited too long. You want to retire and be able to live your life, to
That's
be able to travel, to be able to go on vacation. That's what I wanted for myself. That's what I wanted for my family. So you invest in the market heavily. You get to be retirement optional, but then you can't take the money out. I'm like,
yeah.
oh my goodness, crypto is really going. I need to take some of this money out and invest it here. Or, I mean, I was already doing gold, silver, other products. And just understanding that the syndicated market, the private, wealth market, the whole game of it. Once you get to a certain point, they just keep siphoning your money out and siphoning your
That's
money
right.
out.
Yeah.
And So there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way.
Mhm.
And we've had several conversations, and it was to the point where, you know what, other authors wrote great books that helped me. We need to write a great book that can help somebody else,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of people in this same situation looking for something. And if you go online right now, like I'm online 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning already, I can't find the answer. I'm not, financially illiterate. I'm not educationally illiterate. How come I can't find the answer? And I saw that more and more people were online asking the same question, and
Yeah.
nobody knew. Well, we all have financial advisors. And I'm not saying that having a financial advisor is a bad thing. What I am saying is that I want to control and ownership of my own money to be able to move my money without permission. And I did not have that in the market the way that I had
Mm.
freedom when I was buying and selling gold and crypto. I didn't have that. And so, just fast forward to today, a lot of lessons learned. Have my own garden, about to have a farm, just the whole market aspect of it, just asking for permission never sit right with me. But I knew everybody else was doing it. If that's how you're going to get ahead, hey, you got to play the game. Those aren't the rules at all. And the people who wrote the rules knew.
That's right. They knew what they were doing. So let's talk about some of the hidden rules and what most people don't know about. Right now, a big buzzword, especially for women, is about doing stuff without asking permission.
Hmm.
And what has happened though is that they've made everything permission based.
Yes.
And what you're going to learn is how they made it permission based. But what I want to tell everybody is most Americans feel stuck.
Okay.
They suddenly feel stuck between um, not being able to do what they want, not having access the way they want it. And access is suddenly becoming a wealth topic. Like all of the really wealthy people, they
Hmm.
have access to private equity or they have access to lend or access. Access is a big buzzword, permission is a big buzzword. But the truth is, what you're doing is you're locking your wealth up and they're going to tell you, well, we definitely are working with you to make sure that you have a lot of money saved up over here. But life happens along the way. And
Yes.
when life happens along the way and your money is tied up, no matter where it's tied up, and you don't have control of being able to move it around so it actually grows, and I'll give you an example of that in a minute, then one of the things that you do is you're completely frozen. You're stuck.
Hmm.
The being stuck is by design, and I'm going to prove it to you. So you go to work and you're saving in your 401k and your employer is matching you. They're like, I'll
Oh, yeah.
match you 50%. And you're like, okay, then I'm going to max out my
Mhm.
401k because I want that 50% there. So what happens is the company that you have the 401k with, you don't like how they're performing and you want to move your 401k to somewhere else. Do you know that in order for you to move your 401k to somewhere else, you would have to leave the company you're working at
Hmm.
and or take the destructive whatever is happening over here and stay at your job. So the choice is if I want to move my 401k, I have to leave my company, go try to go get a job at another company, and then move my 401k where I want it to go. But if
That's,
it's not performing well, you suddenly, even though you have the match and it looks like you're making money, and maybe you are, you're stuck at your choices as to wherever you are, that's where you're stuck. And if some of the people that maybe had pension funds that didn't do too well, who wanted to move away from, like, I don't know, a big airplane company that is the friendly skies over to some other more neutral company, maybe a Vanguard, they couldn't do it. So there are some system built in tools that are made to freeze your everything.
hmm.
So I want to give you a real life example. Every family has a kid and all they're thinking about is college. Not now, but back then you always thought about college.
Hmm.
So you get those 521, 529, 529 plans, and you put money into the 529 plans. Now we did that,
Hmm.
and it was, you know, the child I'm talking about now is 33. So this is not something that happened, recently. It has been happening since the 90s, where you put in that money and you're
Hmm.
saving, 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 saving. And suddenly what happens is you realize that it's time to go to college. So you want to access the funds, but
Absolutely.
you never ask the advisor. You feel so smart as a parent. I remember thinking, we're responsible, we're starting right now. And every holiday, you know how the grandparents love to gift the child, here's a little bit of money, a little bit of money, a little bit of money. Well, we kept putting it in the college fund. It was their money, but they were too little to spend it on, whatever. And we bought them the toys they wanted at Christmas. So we socked everything away for them.
Hmm.
And when it came around to getting it out for college, it was an obstacle course.
Hmm.
And getting through that obstacle course, there was something called like a medallion signature we had to get.
Hmm.
That who knows what a medallion signature is? Well,
Right.
probably somebody in banking, but we had to go find that and get that in order to get it through. Now, um, our daughter has been to college twice and never once been able to access her college fund.
That's
All
true.
the money we put in it dwindled down, dwindled down, dwindled down, dwindled down, fees, and every year that they keep it. That's why she's 33. I'm not kidding. This is the fifth time they went up, filled out the paperwork, all of it, got the signatures again, did the whole thing in order to get the fund out. So what's interesting is there's some loopholes
Hmm.
if your kid doesn't want to go to college right away and they want to take a year off and go travel and come back. You have to ask the advisor. We didn't think of asking them, but one of the hidden rules is what's the procedure I need to do in order to get my money out? And they're like, oh, all you do is dial this 800 number and they'll let that happen. Don't believe that for 1 minute. There is a process and a procedure. And sometimes I got to tell you, it is not easy to do that. That has happened in our real life. There has been financial mistakes where we have watched our money just dwindle and still trying to get it out. I mean, this person is married now. And so, the family thing, this is really, maybe she goes on vacation with it. Who knows? But what I know is once you give them their money, there's a procedure you have to do to get it out. And the truth is, let me just ask you in plain English while you're listening right here. Is it true for you that if you gave money to the market, do you think that they would just give it back to you easily just because you want it? Let's say you go all the way through the process. I saved till it was time to go to college. I saved till it was time to retire. I saved till my IRA or Roth IRA, whatever it is now due. Do you think that they want to give you the money just because you saved and you did your portion of it? Do you think they're going to surrender that capital easily?
They're making money off of the money
Mhm.
that's there. They're making
Mhm.
off of it sitting there so that they can use it, to lend it out. They're making money off the taxes, off the penalties. They know that you're going to want to access that money. They're banking on it. They're banking on it. If you think about how many 401ks there are in the workplace, everybody gets one.
Yeah.
But how come everyone can't retire early?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
they want to buy a house, they got to take a loan out on their own money, pay it back with interest. Whenever they want to do anything, it's always penalized. Why are we always taxed and have fees assessed? Like when I was talking to our financial planner and he was saying, you know, it's too risky for Bitcoin. Then I bought my house in a neighborhood that We chose, it was our fault, but it has an HOA. And we wanted to widen our driveway. No. So we did it anyway. We
Oh,
have cars. We did it anyway. They sent us letters. They fined us. We had to go to a town hall meeting because we wanted to do what we wanted to do with our driveway. I mean, it was uniformed. It wasn't anything crazy, but they have guidelines, and you got to be in compliance. And in my state, if you are not in HOA compliance, they can foreclose on you. And so
oh,
it sounded just like my financial planner did in 2015 when he said, it's too risky. You don't have permission. Now I'm wanting to do a garden in my yard or anything else I want to do to my house. No, you can't do it. It sounds the exact same way as it's too risky. You don't have permission. And it's,
that's
no,
right.
you can't do that, like you tell your 3-year-old child. And I'm like, I'm a grown woman.
I'm a
I make
grown
my own
woman
money. Why do I have to ask you
to
what I
plant
want to do?
flowers.
Right. Because it's not what you want. So now, we try to rally our community and say, hey, let's get some of the rules changed. This is why we're here. This is why we signed up for this HOA. And I'm thinking, wait till you want to do something.
Yeah.
And people complain about HOAs, and the only thing you can do is just move. But you want to think about the school system. You want to think about, like, for instance, what you're talking about, the gap year. What if your children want to explore life before college? What if they just want to take a year to learn different languages and go on missionary trips? What if they just want to do that? But now you're penalized for going out and seeing life for yourself before you go to college?
Yeah.
Why? Why? And it doesn't make sense to me because now I don't even feel safe. At one point, I felt safe and secure and giving you all my permission felt like a good thing. Now, I feel like I'm in bondage, just like those golden handcuffs. I'm just sitting here with these handcuffs on because I want to be able to access something that I put myself into a product that I can't. And
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it's our fault. We've been taught that. And as you continue to increase your finances, you want to increase your wealth. So you're like, I have an extra, $80,000 sitting over here. What can I do with it? What can I do with it? Oh, I could buy a hotel in another country. Great. But what are you owning? Nothing.
That's right. And that's the predicament people are being taxed on nothing, and their ownership has been, you know, how would I say? Everything is moving to permission-based living. Permission to have access to all kinds of things. So, let's go to the fundamental place it started, banks.
Yes.
Banks can get your money and freeze your money.
Hmm.
When there's an emergency, they can close you off to your money. And this permission based it's growing in the world. It's growing to the point where everything you do, whether it's an app or anything else, can cut you off from the thing that you have participated in. It can drain more money from you if they want. It's like the contract says, well, up front, we'll take your $350,000 and invest it in our REIT
Hmm.
and our big in trust, our REIT, but then we can ask you and demand more money.
Yes.
And so I have this story. I want to tell you this story. I understand some of the market investing I don't like. I don't like ETFs.
Hmm.
I like ownership and control of the asset. So
Yes.
I don't buy a gold ETF. I'd rather own the piece of gold and have control of it.
Hmm.
So, and the reason I don't is because some of the gold ETF things have these contracts, and you will go in and maybe spend, let's say, ten to $30,000
Hmm.
on gold, which back then is a good chunk of money.
Hmm.
And in the contract, it'll say, that's great that you have 30,000. They'll sell you the 30,000, but they'll leave out the fact that you have to be $100,000 invested in order to access your gold. So if you don't ever want to invest $100,000 in gold, only 30,000, you're going to have to grow your investment in
Mhm.
order to access it, which that doesn't make sense.
That's
But
hidden rule. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Hidden rule. Go on.
That's hidden rule number 4. We talked about this. What feels easiest today can reduce your options tomorrow.
Mhm. And what happens is we want to trust the intermediary we're working with, the attorney, the analyst, the planner, the advisor, all of them, we want to. But most of them have not gone through the contract, or if they have, they're not going to tell you the gotchas. Why? Because they don't make money unless they close the sale. They close the sale of the IRA. They close the sale of the annuity. They close the sale of the life insurance. They have to close the sale.
Yes.
And they have to close the sale by getting your money, extracting it from you, and tying it up in some sort of
Mhm.
financial product, which is usually a contract and a time slot, like 10 years, 15, 30, etc. It's like the mortgage. They have to tie you up for 30 years in order to make money on your mortgage at, 2, 3, 5%, over 30 years. That's a big chunk of money. But monthly, it's not. And
Right.
it looks like exactly what they're selling you is a payment plan.
Hmm.
It's, here's your house. You have rules around it now. It's not really yours. It's not yours to do with what you want with. You have to ask permission to. And it doesn't matter whether you're at a HOA came to housings, but it was originally part of condo communities and townhome communities. It wasn't the houses, but they were like, look at all this money we could make for doing nothing except telling people what they can and can't
Yeah.
do. And that happens. And so suddenly you become a homeowner, you're not a landowner, you have no rights, you don't have water rights, you don't have well rights, you don't have any rights. And that's the point. The extracting of that comes out of this system over here.
Hmm.
Could you imagine um if the billionaires invested in something that they couldn't control?
No.
I don't see that happening. And that's the difference between market wealth and sovereign wealth. Sovereign wealth is the wealth that you control,
Hmm.
that you have over. Now, sovereign wealth is also part of the digital wealth area.
Hmm.
And the two are so important because in my era, they made it sound like financial education was so complicated that you had to get a license for it.
Hmm.
And you had to get uh you had to you do. It's so
Series 7.
complicated.
Hmm.
Yeah, you have to go get everything. And they made it sound like it was so complicated that you wouldn't understand it.
Hmm.
So you have to get a private advisor, planner, and analyst or anything else. You have to get a personal finance person to manage your money. And the thing is, you can go to college and get an engineering degree. You can be a doctor, a surgeon. You can be whatever you want. And that is harder than the financial stuff. That is, they made it sound like it's so hard for you to do. You're better off with somebody managing your money. Well, you know what? This is the era of AI. And an AI can, I tell you, will be more honest with you
Hmm.
about the products you have. You don't need analysts anymore. They have AI agents that they're making that will do trades faster for you and make not 10x, 100x the money than your analyst or planner or whatever this contractual process. It's dying.
Hmm.
It's dying.
You know,
What did you
I like what you said about how You have engineers and doctors who have medical PhDs, right? Then you
Mhm.
have someone over here that can get a certification. They
Mhm.
they get it. And I know people who are in a position where they're earning well, they have professional careers,
Mhm.
but because their children are in private school,
Mhm.
dollar homes, they have to drive the fancy cars, they go on vacations, that they aren't really, and they get up like the doctors, they get up early. They make their shift around, and then they're working, and then they just come home enough to see their kids and go play golf and go to these events that they're invited to. They don't have in their mind the time to manage their money in a way that they
Yes.
feel like they can. And I say, why not? Why? Like, you know what? Like, honestly, people have one income. They have one income. They don't have time to start another job or another business. I don't have time. Like, I'm a doctor or an attorney. I don't have time. This is my high earning. This is my wealth maker. I don't have
Mhm.
to start that. And now with AI being what it is, making everything more efficient, seeing a lot of
Mhm.
robots coming in, everyone is now saying, what else can I do? How can I
That's right.
manage it? Because that margin there, where they want to take out their money to invest it. I mean, right now the
Mhm.
stock market is going, it's doing amazing. It's amazing right now. It's as high as it's ever been, and it's
Yep.
everybody, everything is great. No one is talking about the war anymore in Iran. It's just very quiet. It's just, I call it the quiet before the storm, right? We were talking
Yeah.
about that. But that brings me to wealth rule number 51. I'm sorry, 24. That if your safety depends on permission, it's not safety, it's compliance.
That's right.
I just feel like we don't feel safe anymore. We don't feel, we don't want to be compliant anymore. It's not like, we're going rogue, but we've come to the understanding now that we can manage it just as well as you can. Maybe not, maybe a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I also learned I had to ask the right questions. The reason why I was afraid of managing my own money was because I felt like I didn't know enough. Then I started asking questions, and I found out that they didn't know as much as I thought they knew.
Yeah. They're just licensed.
Hmm.
There's no difference between them and a real estate agent.
Hmm.
It's just a licensing, and they've not made that money. They need your money to make money. They build a book of business, and they have a book of clients. And they built that book by not making a business and saying, well, I have $1 million. Let me show you how to make $1 million. That's not what they do. They make $1 million by getting you to close the deal with them. And it's like 100, half a million, a 300,000, closing the deal until that book is built. And in the beginning, people don't trust you. And you have to really earn the right of getting, you start with little itty bitty deals like, or a rollover or something in order to build that book of business. And so that thing is, you're not making money by actually learning to make money. You're making money by closing the deal on somebody else who's made the
Made them.
money.
Hmm.
And that's kind of the thing that is moving. But I want to go back to the market being as high as it could be right now. It's true, it's very high. We have a K-shaped economy where people are losing their money to inflation, they're losing it to high gas prices and everything else, and lack of work or
Hmm.
lack of raises even. It's not even that the K-shaped economy where we're like, "Hi, K-shaped economy." It's that somehow the division between this and this and this is happening. So here's the middle class, and the middle class is shrinking. And there's only two ways you can go. Most people go, I guess we're going down. No, you don't have to go down. You can go up.
Hmm.
But in order to go up, you have to switch what you're doing. And that thing about switching what you're doing, they make it seem like it's so complicated. It's so much easier than some of the stuff you're going through. Does it take stewardship? Yes. You have to
Yeah.
learn to watch over your wealth,
Mhm.
not set it and forget it wealth. And that's what we've learned.
Mhm.
We've learned to be permission based and to set it and let somebody manage it. And so you can forget it until you're 65 or 62 or whatever your retirement goal is. And then suddenly access to the set it and forget it thing becomes a complicated thing. And instead of it just arriving by check easily, all this stuff, there's all these links, all these gotchas, all these contract things that most people don't know about, or the market falls. Now, I watched in 2008 all my people who are retirement optional and they were going to go in 5 more years. And suddenly they were like, I have to work 10 or 15 more years. Of course you do, because you're not controlling or stewarding your wealth.
Right.
All wealthy people have to learn to steward their own wealth. It's
Yes.
not the set it and forget it. If you take a look at, I want to go with Grant Cardone because he's well known. He's like,
Yes.
saying Oprah. Everybody around the world knows Oprah. Everybody knows Grant Cardone. So
Yes.
Grant Cardone started a YouTube channel umpty hundred years ago where he was selling or teaching sales skills. And
Mhm.
then he wrote a couple of books at sales skills. And what happened was he's now this big real estate investor, but he wasn't back then.
Mhm.
So somehow what he did, even though he made millions from his sales channel and his books, and he started teaching these classes, and he had this whole online business, what he did was he started teaching a type of real estate investing to his audience. And then he made a real estate investing firm.
Yes.
What happened was he started buying assets and controlling assets. He likes single family apartment units,
Mhm.
townhomes. He got them in the best areas. This guy was a climb. If you go back to his original videos and you just look at him, and he's very true that he admits where he has, fallen short and had to come up. He got to the point where he had a skill set.
Yes.
His skill set was so good that he pitched a TV show that was looking for um, millionaires.
Mm.
It's like this hidden billionaire show.
The
He went, what is it called again?
undercover millionaire.
That's it, undercover millionaire. He goes in and he dumps $1 million on the table to the producers and says, I'll give you this if I fail. I mean, how much confidence can you have in
That's a
understanding
master
the
negotiator.
system? That's right. So naturally they put him in the show
Mhm.
and they cut his hair. He has nothing. He has no access to any of the things that he normally has.
Mhm.
And he has this window of time to make $1 million. And he's like, he doesn't even have a place to sleep. So the place they took him to was Pueblo, Colorado, which is about 2 hours out
Mhm.
of where I live. And maybe 3 hours. But he goes there and he knows nobody and he turns it around and he makes that $1 million.
Mhm.
That's stewardship. So it's just like cooking. When you learn to cook, you can cook anything. When
Mhm.
you learn the stewardship of wealth, he went back to his old school and he did the same kind of hustle. He was out on the street with a sign, a street sign, a billionaire, waving it around, getting people to buy mattresses.
Mhm.
And so the thing is, he used every skill set he taught, which was sales and he business strategy and learning to build that business. That's the thing that he can do. If you threw him in any country,
Yes.
anywhere, even if he couldn't speak the language, he would come out on top,
Mhm.
not because he had a planner or a money manager, but because he could build wealth himself. And this is what they don't teach you. They give you this. Every day, you're getting exactly what Monique said. You're getting more permission based, and you're getting to have to ask
Yes.
for everything that you own. You're becoming complacent and compliant.
Mhm.
They're teaching you compliantness. if you will, compliant, a Vickie word. We'll just say
Complain.
as a Vickie word. But they're teaching you to be complacent.
Mhm.
And most people want to feel relief from the stress that they're feeling. So, an advisor who says, let's just set it and forget it, put it in the market, it looks good right now. The market is making all kinds of highs, and people are like, we're going to see 60,000. We're going to see this. Well, if you get to the point where you're looking at your money, who's running your money right now? Go ahead, say what you're going to say.
I have three things to say. Don't let me forget to go back to Grant Cardone, Vickie. But
Mm-hmm.
the higher the market goes, the more people run to the market to put their money in there. Oh
That's
my
right.
goodness, the market's doing good. You see it on social media all the time, especially on Facebook. Everyone's sharing with their friends. Oh, I just made a lot of money in the market. I just bought like Nvidia, whatever.
Yeah.
And now everybody's running, putting more money in, putting more money in, putting more money in. But you can't take the money out. Everyone is like, oh, the market's high. I just put another, you know, 10, 20,000 on this stock, and I can't wait for SpaceX IPO to, hit the public market. And but you can't even take that money out. You put an extra 20, 30 in. They're saying thank you, but they're not even giving you, any kind of reward for it. All they're doing is giving you a pat on the back and shaking each other's hands because they already know. Good job to them. They just got more of your money because we've been taught, oh, while it's doing good, keep investing because now you're going to be able to retire sooner. The more the stock goes up. But when I started looking at how much I was paying my financial advisor a year,
Yeah.
I mean, they're making a lot of money off of you.
That's
They're
right.
they're making very good money. And I started thinking, hey, what if I didn't have to pay them? Because I want to be in control. How much more money could you save in your pocket and how much more access would you be able to have to your money
Yeah.
when you want it? Those are the thoughts I was thinking. But that was a good point about Grant Cardone because he was in disguise. I mean, he was himself, but
Yeah.
he made it so that you wouldn't be able to recognize him.
That's
In
right.
such a way, though, that he showed everybody in the world that if I lose everything tomorrow, I can get it back. And I have a son, and I'm gonna have him watch the series with Grant Cardone. I didn't even think about it, but he's very personable. And whenever he goes anywhere, he just either knows how to navigate around people, with people,
Yeah.
or like he'll meet somebody and he knows exactly what their skill set is. And like if the world were to end tomorrow, he would have that butcher, he would have the person who knows how to do this, he would have the gardener, he would have the nurse, the doctor, like he would have all those
Yeah.
in his sphere of influence, he would have all of that. Because wherever he goes, he just knows exactly, okay, you know what? Now let's partner together. Let's go over here, let's do this. And it's amazing that Grant had that tenacity
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do that. I mean, not only is he a master negotiator, but he showed people what could be done
That's
in
right.
in a practical, like a tangible way.
No excuses.
You saw it with your eyes, and I know he's always talking about 10x this and 10x that, but when you see him do it, now you're
Yeah.
like, you know what? I can follow him because he's the real deal. I know some
Yeah.
people out here with the fluff, and they haven't done anything ever. They're just repeating what he's taught. They're trying to duplicate his program and just sell it to a different audience.
Hmm.
But what he's built and what he's done has just been magnificent. I have really got to show my son that because
Yeah.
you said that, that made me think how I'm always saying I could just put him in any environment, he would just thrive. Like if COVID-2 happened, I wouldn't even worry about him if he was somewhere across the world. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But when you realize, when you look and sit down at how much you're paying your financial advisor, your planner, or your CIO, whoever, annually, and times that by 5 or times that by the time you retire,
Yeah.
let's say you had 20 years to retire. And you're paying them $300,000, like just the math alone.
Yeah.
Somebody
And
more money than you are. Because they're
I
not going
want to
to.
I want to share with people that thing you just said about, the fees and everything else. I know a lot of people think they're so intelligent when they're like, but there are no load mutual funds.
Oh yeah.
And they're free. You don't have to pay an advisor. You don't I'm going to do the no load mutual funds. And I'm like, check your fees in the back. Check your fees when you want to go, oh, how much that costs you to get one person online. And you'll see there's no free lunch, people.
No,
There's just no free lunch.
it's
And the
not.
thing about that is right now, this system is masked. We have private equity that is defaulting at a rate that is
Mhm.
it's and Japan, we have so many black swan event things that could be happening. So enjoy the ride right now. And one of the things that has suddenly gone really quiet, which is what you were talking about, the Strait of Hormuz.
Mhm.
Is there any oil still moving through the Strait of Hormuz? The answer to that is no. There's not any, there's no oil moving. It's now some of them have flipped around and gone all the way down and around across the ocean. And the
Mhm.
thing is, the cost of that is so expensive to do that. That Strait of Hormuz isn't just about shipments moving, it's about the cost of moving shipments the other way as well. And here's the thing, everything, everything that you enjoy runs off energy.
Yes.
And that energy from that oil and gas and things like that, while we're writing the rice paper of walking through on rice paper, when the signs for us about how that oil or that lack of energy is coming is going to be, I think in July, we're going to start seeing it, but
Mhm.
fall, we're really going to see it. We're
Yes.
looking at the lack of energy. So let's just say the Strait of Hormuz opened. The oil doesn't grow back. It's not like
Right.
a strawberry plant that suddenly goes, here's a strawberry, here's another. It's not like a seasonal thing like, oh, the oil is empty, but don't worry, in the fall, the oil river comes and it fills right back up. That doesn't happen.
No.
And what happens is we have to start managing all of the oil that was lost. So it's not like there's a plethora of oil hanging out in the ground. I agree. I'm going to age myself right now. The Tower of Power, there's only so much oil in the ground. And, when we look at that, let's just say Hormuz opens. So
Mhm.
now we start rationing oil. So
Right.
let's say there is the factory, and the
Mhm.
factory at full capacity runs off a certain amount of oil and it produces all the stuff we love and want.
Mhm.
But if they started rationing and they are saying, well, here's your share of oil, your factory can't run at full capacity. It has to run at half capacity based on the amount of oil that is your share of oil.
Right.
So suddenly, our capacity to create stuff and all that consumer buying, all of that, it has a jig in the day. And that in itself, just the half capacity, is going to affect the market because the market runs on the capacity of all these, even the S&P 500. The S&P 500, the best the best fund you can be in. Top
Right.
500 company,
Yes.
always working,
Right.
always a profit there.
Mhm.
And what happens if Kellogg's can go at half their capacity? And I use Kellogg's because Kellogg has to have a farmer behind it. So
Mm.
the farmer right now doesn't have oil and gas, it doesn't have fertilizer, it doesn't have the things that it needs to produce the grains that Kellogg needs to produce even at half capacity right now. And nobody's looking at that future. They're just seeing, oh, the market's up. It must be a good time to jump in. We have to be able to read what's going on. There's a reason why you don't see anything about the war now. They don't want you to pay attention to that. They want you to pay attention to the market being over that price. And I think what you said is so important. I really wanted to share that. But you asked me to remind you about Grant Cardone. Did you get to share what you wanted to say about him and your son?
Yes. I did. But I do want to say something about how the garden, I mean, the farmers,
Mhm.
even though the news right now is very, very quiet, the average everyday person is now taking to the internet. You have friends and family saying grocery prices are so high, oh my goodness, or I don't see my favorite foods, my favorite fruits in the grocery store anymore.
Yeah.
They're going to the gas station and posting a picture of the gas prices online. And the farmers, we talked about this before, how they're online talking about
Yeah.
how much food they're able to grow. Even though the news isn't talking, people are still talking. We
That's
know
right.
there's something right here in our belly saying, just get ready.
Mhm.
And that's why Hidden Rules is here. Because that feeling that you got right now that is saying, I'm uneasy, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know what's going on. I'm smart enough, I'm capable, I have the finances, what is going on? Right now, I just don't feel safe. That's why Hidden Rules is here. Because a lot of people just don't know what to do right now.
Yes. And I wanna talk to that high earning professional woman.
Hmm.
You're going to be the first thing over the next 18 months, I'll give it. I'll be generous and say 18 months that is going to be replaced by AI. So all the contract attorneys where you make all your money, those smart contracts are coming. And right now, there's more work for your paralegal than there is for you. And there are going to be all kinds of professional doctors,
Hmm.
those robotic things, they're coming for your job instead of their. I remember back in the day there was 3 to 5 surgeons in a medical room, and now there's 2. There's the anesthesiologist and the doctor performing whatever it is, and the robotics doing the surgery while the doctor oversees that. So all these positions that we normally have that are great professions are going to be being replaced. And women are the largest part of that middle management area, the administrators, the upper middle management people, whatever those jobs are, women are set to take a hit on it. And I want to tell you something. There was something, it disturbed me so badly, but I was watching Valuetainment, the 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 podcast that's on YouTube, which I usually like watching.
Hmm.
And there was a guy they were interviewing on this podcast. And what happened was he was saying that men are going to get all the jobs that are left, and women are going to return to the home and they're going to be baby making. That's what he said. Like, we're just going to fall back into this place where we should be, which is in the home, at the house, because most of the jobs that are being eradicated all belong to women. And right away I was like, say what? I do not agree with that. Here's what I'm going to tell you what women are going to do, and you're going to see it happen all kinds of ways. And this is the hidden rule. They're going to start businesses,
Yes.
every kind of business. They're going to learn the hidden rules of wealth. They're going to start stewarding their own wealth and removing it from this system and placing it in this system, because the AI can help you manage your own money now. It's not necessarily the system over here. And what I know is you empower one woman and she'll 10x everything that she does. And I do not agree that women are just going to go home and be housewives and be under the male thumb because males are suddenly going to get all the jobs that are left. I'm sorry, guys, your jobs are on the chopping block too.
Absolutely.
Now, the jobs that are going to be around, which are the trades, are mostly run by men. But I know women right now who are learning to be an electrician, to be a plumber, to do welding, to do all of these things too. I do not think that women are going to shrink. I think women are going to change the world
Hmm.
in a way that's more peaceful, more profitable, and surrounds opportunity.
let me just share this with the audience. Everybody has a choice, right? Everybody has a choice, whether they want to go home or whether they want to work, as a CEO. Fine. But I do know that my friends who, no matter what profession they're in right now, especially I have a friend that's a nurse practitioner, I have a friend who is higher up in healthcare management, they are training AI to do their jobs. Like she says that she has like a device, like a phone, and she takes it in there and she asks the patient questions, and the patient is talking, AI hears it. It's like, I think it's this and this and that because of whatever their medical history is. It comes back with a diagnosis. She's like, I don't use that. They want me to use it. They want me to train AI to do my job. And then they say, well, how can we make it better? What do you think went wrong with it? Then they try to come back with the upgrades and
It's okay.
come back with the upgrades and try to find out exactly how to fix the AI to make it better so it can perform your job at a higher level. It's just trying to take away leverage to the
Yeah.
point where you're making, $600,000. Now you're making 250. That's a lifestyle change.
Yes.
Now it's like, what am I going to do with the money and the credit score and the items that I have on credit? All my bills, I've been living this luxurious life. I've been going on vacations and performing wealth. What am I like? I honestly, I'm not even going to mention the number, but I know how much I spent on clothes, on eating out, on hair, on jewelry,
Yes.
on nails, on makeup, just per year that I could have pivoted and done something different with. But the performance was there. So you feel like you have to do it because once you get to a certain level, you're like, I have to have this car. What do I look like not having a Mercedes? What do I look like not driving a jet? Like in your mind, you're just like, when I go to the dealership, this is what I've got to buy because I'm here. I worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
I've done what I needed to do. I deserve it. I earned it. I'm thinking, man, what if I didn't have to make those payments? What if I didn't go and pay cash for that vehicle? How much money could you have saved? And just looking back now at how much we've spent and how much we've gone in debt as a nation and as women, I know that all the money's coming to us as females, but
That's right.
we've got to steward it because if we don't, we're just going to give it away. It's going to be cycling right out of us.
Yep. And I want to let you know right now that women are being targeted by financial professionals. And here's why. She just said all the money is coming to us. If you Google right now this great wealth transfer and ask your AI to tell you how much is coming to women around the world, it'll tell you it's about $124,000 that is coming. And in that $124,000, American women are going to receive between 46 and 86 trillion of that dollars that are moving that way. Now it's coming through from inheritances, and moving assets from this generation to this generation. So your succession plans and things like that. And so there's going to be a lot of real estate as well. There is a boatload of power and control in assets, and women are being, and I say targeted, because they want you to be permission based. That's really what they want. And they want control of your money.
Mhm.
And so what happens is you've never had that kind of wealth before. And suddenly you have, I don't know, an extra half a million to however many million you receive. And right away, you are a woman. So you can hear in your head, I don't want to lose any of this money. I want to do the right thing. I want to make sure it's safe.
Mhm.
I want to make sure there's a legacy for my kids. So women, they are very Warren Buffett thought, which is rule number one, don't lose any money. Rule number two, look at rule number one. So,
Right.
I mean, there's that real perfectionism, and they think, well, this is all the money I have, so I need to protect it. And what they do is they start looking at advisors and planners because for some reason they think they can't protect their own wealth. And that's the lie they want you to
Hmm.
believe.
Yes.
You can steward your own wealth. The second you let somebody else steward your wealth, you give them access to telling you you need permission
Hmm.
or this is what we're going to do with it. So there's this scene. I say this all the time because I think it's the best scene. Everybody, if you haven't seen the movie Hitch with Will Smith,
Hmm.
go see it. It's so funny. It's online, it's cheap, it's inexpensive. Go watch it. It's a great laugh. I love it. But there's the theme of the movie is Hitch is this guy who helps nerdy dudes or dudes that just don't know how to vibe with women well a chance to, pursue a woman that they're in love with. So, in this one scene in the movie, there is this character called Allegra Cole, and she's like a Kardashian or something. And so what happens with the Kardashian look is that she is really rich, and the guy who wants her is on the board of directors that manages her money. So she comes into this big conference room and she sits down and she says, I'd like $500,000 of my money to invest in my friend's business. I've seen the business plan. I really like it. I just want to take $500,000 and invest it. And so the reply from the head guy is, oh, well, how about if we give you options next time we see you about things that you could invest in that would be really great. And so what happens is she's asking permission to invest her own money. And the guy who wants to impress her stands up and he says, I think I'm kind of paraphrasing. He says, I think if you want to invest $500,000 in your own in your friend's business, that's exactly what you should do. Then he says something really important. He says, you don't need advice from a boardroom of your daddy's golf buddies in
Right.
order to invest your money. The most powerful sentence in that thing. You don't need advice from there. And then he walks out. It's this funny bit.
Hmm.
But the point is, she had to ask permission to invest her own money in a business she wanted to invest in. And that's the point. That's what happens when you start giving away the power to manage your own money. And the thought that you're not smart enough is a big fat effing lie.
Hmm.
And right
Yeah.
now AI,
Hmm.
with AI, you can have a money manager right there go over and deliver that business thing with you so that you can see that. So the hidden rules are uncovering the lies that you've been told about what to do with your money, what's available for you to do with your money, and that you need a professional to manage it because you're too stupid.
Yeah. What I wanted to say, Vickie, is that in Hitch, and hi, Bob. Thanks for joining.
Hey,
Um,
Bob.
is that one of the things I liked about that scene was that when she left, she felt empowered.
Yes, that's
While she
right.
was there, she felt powerless. You could see it on her face, like her whole demeanor
Yeah,
changed. And
that's
then
right.
when he stood up and told her that she didn't have to ask,
Yep.
just the mindset change. I mean, she just looked empowered and she was like, wait a minute, he's right.
Hmm.
And that's what we've been saying, with the hidden rules. You don't have to be permission based. You have a choice, but you don't have to choose that way. And when you don't choose permission based life, when you choose ownership and control, you feel empowered.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in charge. And when you're not in charge, you always feel like something's off. I don't feel safe. Something's going on. What is wrong? You know there's something off because you are capable. You are intelligent.
Hmm.
You know how you've been managing your finances fine. Now,
Hmm.
some people don't manage money well. This is true. But the majority, if you're not a shopaholic, you don't have these other spending habits, then you can manage your own money. You can buy your own assets. You can buy land with water rights. You can buy a farm. You can do these things without permission. This is your money. You can do what you want to with it. And when he was like emboldened her and she was excited and he was excited, the whole room changed. I mean, the people that were, she had asked permission for, the people who were in charge, who she was continually being compliant with, were upset. They didn't like the fact that she was asking for permission, and then the light bulb went off and she found out, or then she
Yes.
thought that she didn't need them anymore. She was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute. They're like, no, 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 no. We'll bring you something else. We'll tell you what to do. We're going to
That's right.
give you what you need. We'll put a couple of businesses in front of you that will benefit us as well, and you'll be just fine. Your money will keep growing. How much do you think they're getting paid? It was
Yeah.
like you just really had to think for yourself about what you want for your life. If you know that you want something better, and if you know that these rules are not working, if you know that you're living permission based and it's uncomfortable, the hidden rules.
That's right. They're part of the hidden rules. There is a point where they're pulling the wool over your eyes, I think is the term. I'm not sure if that's true, but there's a point where when you realize your options, when you have all the information
Mm-hmm,
and they love stupid investors. They do not want intelligent people that and they make you feel like what you're doing is right, important. You're going to make a fortune. You're going to have all of these things, and you have such good feelings about the whole deal. But there is a level of corruption
mm-hmm,
that our country has come to that has never been here before. And the thing, or maybe it has, and we're just unearthing it. I don't know. But there is a level of corruption around money.
mm-hmm,
So there is a point where it's in America, the financial arena is the stealer of money. Wall Street, everyone knows it is the stealer of money. It is over and over that kind of particular set of circumstances. So if you take a look at the mortgage debacle, every time Bernie Madoff comes to mind and WorldCom, there are so many companies that are so strong, so big, they never can collapse. And then they do. There is always that kind of thing. And if you look, and I maybe a title for the next book that it will write is called Do as the Billionaires Do. What they're buying right now is land, farmland. They buy assets. They
yes.
don't buy assets in places where they have no control of the property, or they have to ask permission for to put flowers or a rose garden. If Oprah Winfrey wants a rose garden, all the people who are they're all at the house trying to sell her, I'll make you the best rose garden ever. She's not asking permission for anybody to plant food on her farm in Maui. She's
No.
not, I do what I'm going to do. What she does is, and what you have to ask yourself is, how much freedom or permission do you want? Do you want permission, the most permission to access your wealth? Or do you want the most freedom to access your wealth? Well,
Mm-hmm,
in the hidden rules, what you're going to find out is what the billionaires do, how they think, what they know that you're not told.
mm-hmm,
There is this we had the largest in the United States, the largest middle class ever created in history. And in that middle class, what they found was that with enough propaganda, enough advertising, enough seduction, enough drilling desire into you so that you had to have that
mm-hmm,
your money was controllable by them, and they have been controlling how you spend, how you think,
mm-hmm.
what you know, how you act for decades now.
Yes.
And it is now going to be uncovered because AI is here and we write books like The Hidden Rules and we're sharing it out there because we're up against the wall right now. So what do I mean? Everybody has noticed how climate incidences are growing. We have not E2 or E3 storms, we're having E5 or E6 storms.
Hmm.
We're not having a little overflow on our rivers. We're having entire swatches, huge amounts of acres wiped out by
Hmm.
flooding rivers. We see homes going down there. We're also getting to the point where AI is now actually taking the work that our young people would have normally been interned into and
Right.
then became that professional. We have businesses that have been run over by big corporations, big box stores, big box everything. And so you're like, where do you go? What do you do? Well, if you learn the hidden rules, you'd make different choices. You wouldn't say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'll go be more stuck, more permission based, more this." And don't you want to know the way out of that?
Hmm.
Wouldn't it, if you had other options, wouldn't it be important to know what they are?
Right.
If everything was easier now to do, what if growing wealth right now is easy to do? And I want to be really clear. I don't care if you're dead broke
Hmm.
or you're 5 million a year or more. It doesn't matter. You right now have over the next, I'd say 3 to 4 years to turn everything around. It doesn't matter how young or how old you are.
Hmm.
There are young kids right now that I know of personally that are making money every single month creating digital platforms, digital products,
Yes.
digital businesses. They're in high school making more money than their parents make. And what happens is you just have to learn what is out there. So if you're literally can't afford anything, you can turn it around right now. And if you can afford everything, you still can turn that and look at that permission that you're giving everybody else and saying, you know what? Who's Grant Cardone giving permission to? He's not saying, oh, can I access my money? He goes to a bank and they walk in and see him and he asks for whatever amount of money and they give it to him. They don't give a crap what his credit score is. They don't give a crap about what degree he has or how old he is. All they see is that if they loan money, they're attaching it to assets that he already has. And that's the point. It's like once you learn how other people are doing it, everybody yells, oh, the rich are getting richer off the sweat of the back of the poor people. That's not true. The
Hmm.
rich are getting richer because they know what the wealth rules are, they know the hidden rules, and the masses don't. And here's the time to be able to flip that around. No matter how old you are, I know a lady right now who started her business online, I think at 81, at 81. And she is making, um, I don't know, somewhere between three and $5,000 a month after about 8 months of working online. Now she's 81, so she's not full time. She ain't out there hustling and grinding for money. She's trying to make a little part time income. And if she didn't tell you she was 81, you wouldn't know. And that's the whole point. Where you are is part of a system that's dying. It's taking your ability and it's using inflation. It's taking away your sovereignty by making you permission based. And the more and more people are starting to go, I don't want to belong here. But
Hmm.
here's what I want to tell you, they're focused on women right now.
Right.
And I want, ladies, I need you to hear me out. Just let me explain for a second. 71% of you are in a very volatile market. They're
Yes.
marketplace. 71% of the investors in this market are women. Why is there not more men? What do they know that we don't quite know yet?
Mm-hmm.
So, why is it that 71% of the women are over here still trying to learn how to budget better when it's the thing that's happening is not your fault? But every time you invest in permission, you start to feel more stuck, more stuck, more stuck because it's by design. There's no margin for error, there's no margin for emergency. And though you have cash, your cash every single day is losing value.
Yes.
So there has to be a willingness for you to learn what they aren't telling you when they taught you about wealth. And that's the hidden rules. You can you can spend $1 today, one freaking dollar,
Mm-hmm.
and get the book. It's on sale for the ebook. And I may extend it for a little while longer, but what's important for you to know is that for $1, you could learn all these hidden rules and how to take stewardship over your wealth, how to understand what they don't want you to understand or see. And that is like one of the best investments you can have right now is learning the difference between what you learned and what the billionaires do. Because
Mm-hmm.
Grant Cardone isn't in the market. He doesn't, he's like, why would I do that? There are so many billionaires that are thinking, now, why would I do that? And what else can be done? And here's the other thing. Oh, go say what you wanted to say. I saw you want to share something.
Yeah, they would say, why would we do that? And those are the things that we don't know. Why don't we know
Yeah.
to say, why would we do that?
Mm-hmm.
How come they can say it, but we can't?
Yeah.
Why is there 71% of women market based right now not asking, why would we do that? Because we've been taught permission based. And, I feel like because they let us in late to the party, that we feel like we've arrived. We feel like we have the right to be here and that we finally, have our comeuppance. But if the men are leaving, if the men aren't in it, if there's less men than there are women in the financial sector, it makes
Yeah.
me think, okay, what's going on here? What are
That's
they
right.
doing? And why aren't more men over here?
Mhm. That's so true. And the other thing is, this market wealth, it takes 20 or 30 years. There are faster, more easier ways to become a
Yes.
millionaire than by going in this market. There
Mhm.
are faster, easier, less expensive because time is the thing. And stewarding your wealth means that I think you can get there faster now. So I have been dealing with something that I just realized um, about 3 weeks ago when we were doing a podcast. And I questioned um, the savings plot because we're told to save, which
Yes.
separates us from access to our money. Some
Mhm.
save in the bank, some you're save. But what I've seen the billionaires do is they don't save money. None of them do. They
Mhm.
flow money. And the
Mhm.
flow is finding a cash flow vein, which you'll learn about in the Hidden Rules book. And they have several cash flow veins. They flow money and they reinvest money into a flow so that the cash flow veins, there's direct to your company. It
Mhm.
goes right through. You're not trying to store it, you're just flowing it. And the key thing is billionaires don't depend on one income. And
Right.
that is what the people are taught. Middle class, everything. We're taught one income. Your job is your income.
Get
And
one
then
good
we're taught,
job.
Yeah. We're taught to take our earnings and invest it to make passive income or set it and forget it wealth. So what happens is you only have one flow, and that one flow is your job. So I don't believe that savings is the way forward anymore. I think the way forward is to do what billionaires do and have several cash flowing veins.
Hmm.
And they're the cash flow veins. There's no such thing as passive income, so I don't really use that word. So when I started looking at it, I was like, how much money do I actually have saved? Well, I don't. I have cash flowing assets and I have seven veins. And anytime the money is, it just is there because the flow is consistently there.
Right.
The flow is what you make. So I thought to myself, I was like, I'm not going to teach people to save anymore because the value of saving in dollars right now, maybe in the 1800s or early 1900s,
Right.
saving dollars or saving, that's like 1995. That's fine back then. But right now, savings is devaluing your money to inflation
Hmm.
and other harmful things that the value of the dollar, every time they print more, our streets are paved with debt and it's dollar debt. So
Yes.
saving doesn't make, how fast can you turn that into a cash flow vein? Not a passive income,
Hmm.
not a cash flow vein. And inside of those things, the more flows you have, the less savings you just create another flow. And I realized that even if I just take, today I'm launching my 48th book. It's my co-author Monique and I, it's her first book, but it's my 48th book. So I know that all my books are on Amazon. And every month I get checks from Amazon. Now, here's the thing, I don't know how many people are going to buy this book, number 20 book, or number 19 book, or number 8 book, or number 48 book. I don't know how many are going
Hmm.
to do that. But I know every single month I get checks that automatically just flow into my corporation from books that have sold on Amazon.
Right.
That's a flow. And right now with AI, like I've been writing books for since it was a while ago. So I even have some books that you have to buy. They're not even in print right now. There's, about 30 years of books. And the thing is, um, I have always made really great money with books. It took me a long time to handwrite every single one of those books. You had to do it. Now there's AI. If you understand your message to the world, if you understand what you're about and you start writing books right now, you can get to 48 books pretty quickly.
Hmm.
You have your money set up. And as you continue to learn about digital assets, now I want to be really clear here. The average person has $155,000 of digital wealth and they don't even know.
Hmm.
And I'm like, how could you not know? Because they're not educating you about what digital wealth is. They
Yes.
sell digital wealth like, here's your dream business. Here's your dream business. Tell me what you want to do. I don't want to tell you what you want to do. I'm not asking you to pick a niche. Don't do that.
Right.
What's your message to the world?
Hmm.
What is your message to the world? You find that first, not a profitable niche. And then you build this funnel and this other thing and blah, 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 all around it. That is going by the wayside. Digital assets are what do you own digitally
Hmm.
that produces cash for you. That's a vastly different thing. And we have something called the lifeboat business. And the lifeboat business is made for somebody like your yacht is your life right now as it is. And if something happens to your yacht where it's taking on water and it's going to sink, you want to get into a lifeboat that gets you to shore. A
Mm,
lifeboat business is inexpensive, it's fast to set up, and it's made to go through the storm and get you to shore. That's what a lifeboat is for. It's
mhm,
not your dream business, it's your stabilizing asset that you own.
mhm.
And these kinds of things you're going to learn about a bit when you read the book. It's $1 today in order to join us in that pursuit. It's on Amazon. We'll leave a link and put a post out where you can go buy the book for $1. And we appreciate your support, actually. When you sell books, to get your message out, you need a group of people who are willing to spend $1 on you.
Right.
And if that's you today, we'd like to say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's going to be it. But today, what we want to say is the hidden rules are now uncovered.
Mm,
So, what is it that they say nowadays with AI and the internet? Um, if you're stupid, it's on purpose because everything is available to you for your at your fingertips. It's
for
so
fingertips.
fast right now. You can flip the thing that you're in. If you're, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I have so much debt. I feel ashamed, blah, blah, blah. Just flip that script. You can go ahead and learn how you're being manipulated,
Hmm.
how you're being,
Yes.
you know, moved into permission based wealth, how they're talking you out of that money. But more importantly, you can learn to steward your own wealth. It's just as easy. Well, I wouldn't say just as easy. There's a little more contact and context to it. But you can learn anything that you want to learn, including how to cook, how to manage your own money. And managing your own money isn't about budgets, it's about looking at the system, how it works, and doing what's going to give you the most sovereign wealth that you can have. Do you have anything you want to share?
Yes. And for those who are in a situation where they've been wanting to know what the hidden rules are, and they're thinking that to get wealthy is going to be overwhelming. It's going to be another task to do every day, another item on their list to do. That is not the case at all. I have children. I have a life. I have a career. I have a husband. I have things going on. And those rules, the hidden rules, once I learn how to apply them, just the mental shift, it doesn't take a lot. It just takes knowing what they are, and applying them once you have a clear understanding of what they are. That's why the hidden rules exist. It's not, oh, I've seen online, I read a lot of books, right? So we know that sometimes it seems like, to get there, that's another book I was reading, and you got to obtain it, you really got to put in a lot of work and a lot of effort. And right now I don't have it. Let me put the book to the side. Let me dog ear a few pages and let me see later on if I can get to it. These are right now rules. These are things that you
Yeah.
can do today. As you're reading, a light bulb will go off and you can say, you know what? I can see myself being permission based in this area. I can see
Yeah.
myself giving away my power. I can see myself being compliant. And then you have a choice. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
We don't know till we do know. And once you do know, you have to make a choice. And so today I would say, for those who want to make a choice, who have been sitting on the fence, wondering what to do, praying, asking God, I don't know what to do, how to do it, today is
Here's
the,
your boat.
yep, here's your boat.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for joining us on our launch day. It's been a big day for us. We're pretty excited about it. And, if you do anything, the first thing you should do is subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to Wealth Rules, and we will have plenty of these conversations together. So the end button has to be on your side of the conversation, because mine still says error for going live. But I just want to say thank you for being here. Go buy a book today. It's $1. $1. And the link will be in the wealth rules area.
Thank you all for joining. Have a good day.